Hey everyone, happy Saturday. You'll notice something different. I'm actually standing up now. I got a real tripod, which makes me a real YouTuber, I feel like. I've just been setting my camera up on a little stand and that's been my life, but I'm so excited to be standing up now because honestly, my legs fall asleep in every single video that I film, so I'm excited to not have to deal with that today. I'm going to be talking about the books that I want to read in February. I am super excited for February's reading month because I will be continuing in a ton of series. I'm trying to catch up and wrap up some series. So I have a lot of series that I'm in the middle of right now, like a ton. So I went through my shelves and pulled a couple ones that I only have like maybe one book left in the series. And then there was a couple that I just wanted to continue with, so I pulled those out as well. And that will be my February TBR. But I'm also going to be buddy reading a couple books as well, so we'll talk about those ones too. So let's get right on into the books. Before I get into my other ones, I want to talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey because I will be reading this month. I'm buddy reading this one with my sister. We try to buddy read some sort of adult science fiction or fantasy book every month together. But I know that I'd forget to mention this one since I don't have a physical copy of it. I got an ebook for this one, so I'm really excited to read this. I've been trying to venture more into the SFF classics lately because classics is always like a daunting thing for me. It's not something I typically enjoy reading, but I've read some really great ones since we've started doing this like buddy reading project, me and her together. So I'm really excited to read 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you haven't heard about this one, I actually have never seen the movie. I know it's a big thing. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know, but from what I understand, it's about some sort of discovery that was made on the moon, and then they are sending astronauts there to investigate what the heck is going on with this situation on the moon, but things go horribly wrong on their way there. So suspenseful, science fiction, space, moon, those are all my key points. So I'm really excited to pick up this one. Then the next book that I'm going to be buddy reading, I'm super excited about as well, and that is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. Me and Holly from Holly Hearts Books, I'll link her channel over there and down in the description. We are going to be buddy reading this one together. This has been on my TBR forever. It was one of my most anticipated books of 2019 and I can't believe I never got to it. I even got this beautiful ARC from BookCon and BEA. I think this one was from BEA and I still have not read it, but now is the time. So excitement very high. This book is basically pitched as if Frodo got assassinated by Sauron and Sam had to finish his quest for him. So it's following basically the sidekick, and he has just been the sidekick forever, and the chosen one ends up getting killed, so he has to complete the quest. So I'm really excited about this one. I've heard it's like an epic hero fantasy, but with a little bit of lightheartedness as well. Then for my one other book that isn't a continuation of a series is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is one I've talked about recently. This is on my must-read of 2020 list. I cannot let this book go another year on my shelves. I have to get rid of it if I don't read it this year, so it's on my TBR early on in the year, so I make sure to get it read. This is following the premise of if Sherlock Holmes was a real person, and it's following his descendant as she is going to a boarding school and she has to figure out some sort of mystery, obviously following the same like kind of basic formula of Sherlock Holmes, but in like a modern contemporary setting. I've heard really good things about the series, but it's just been one that I keep putting off and putting off, but I'm finally gonna read it this month, and if I don't read it this month, it's being unhauled. Then a short one, I've got Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire. This is the third book in the Every Heart a Doorway Wayward Children series. These are a collection of very short stories following a world where children get pulled in through like these different portals to live in a brand new world. The world kind of like matches who they are, and they like feel really at home, and that's just like the place that they love. But then for some reason or another, they get pulled back into the real world here on Earth, and they don't adjust well because they've spent maybe years in these like really fantastical worlds. Think like Wonderland or like Frankenstein gothic world. So they don't really like know how to function in like a normal everyday life anymore. So I'm excited to continue on with this one to get a little bit more caught up with the series. Super quick reads, so it shouldn't take me very long to get through this one. Next up, I've got Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the third book in the Starbound trilogy. I really enjoyed the first book in this series. The second one was a little bit more iffy for me, but I'm excited to see where the third one takes us. Hopefully I enjoyed as much as I did the first one and not the second one. This series is basically like a science fiction romance kind of thing, so each book is following a different couple. Think along the lines of Illuminae, but there's a lot going on outside of that as well. There's a government conspiracy, there's alien planets, there's all sorts of really fun stuff. I highly recommend this if you're looking for like Illuminae light, because it is a great series that's really fun and really fast to get through. Then I have The Complication by Suzanne Young. This is book 6 in the program series. I have been really enjoying the program series from what I've read so far, and I'm excited to continue on with this one. I think this is the last one, but I'm not exactly sure about that. I have been really loving every duology in this series. So this series is made up of 3 different duologies that all like take place in the same world but at different points in time and through different people. And every time I read one of the new duologies, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite one. I love this duology. And then the next one I'm like, love this one. This one is great. So I'm really excited to continue on with this one. It's a little bit of an older YA series, and it's following a world where there has been basically like a suicide epidemic among teenagers, and the world has become like hypersensitive to what is causing this epidemic and also like how to treat it, what to do. So any signs of any teenagers being a little bit depressed, they like are whisked away and entered into the program, which is a facility where they basically brainwash you and take away everything that could have made you sad. So these books are following like the different progression of that, like how the program got started, what's happening, etc., etc. But I'm really excited to continue on with it and hopefully find out the resolution to the story. Then a series I'm so excited to continue with is the Books of Babel series. So this is Arm of the Sphinx, which is the second book in the Books of Babel series by Josiah Bancroft. I was obsessed with Senlin Ascends last year. It was in my top 10 favorite books of the year. I think it was in my top 5. I just loved it more than anything. It was completely surprised me how much I enjoyed it. It's so much fun, such a quirky, unique fantasy. Nothing like anything I've ever read before. So this is following a man named Senlin, and him and his new wife are going on to honeymoon at the Tower of Babel. Now the Tower of Babel in this world is a little bit different than what you might think of. So it is a very big tourist attraction, and nobody really knows how it got there, what exactly happened with it. But each ring in the Tower of Babel is a completely different way of operating. So like the bottom level is like the slums, and then the higher up you get, like the more fancy it gets kind of thing. But each one is different. So like the second level is like this crazy immersive theater, and every one is just different, and it costs a lot of money to travel up the tower. So when him and his wife arrive there, they are almost immediately separated in this really chaotic market that surrounds the tower. He soon discovers that this is very common and that many people have lost their loved ones in the market and have never found them again. So he enters into the tower and is attempting to find his wife, but also getting kind of wrapped up in the chaos, which is the tower, getting almost seduced by its pull. And I just loved this book so much, and I'm really excited to continue on with it. My friend Holly, who I talked about earlier today, she really loves the series too, so I'm hoping that the series just gets better as it goes, or at least just stays the same level, because the first one was so good. Then the final series I'm going to be catching up with is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the final book in the Arc of the Scythe series, which I also have been loving. Thunderhead left on a crazy cliffhanger that I just cannot even process what's going to happen next. So I'm so excited to find out what's going to happen. I do have a little bit of reservations because I have not heard the greatest thing about The Toll. I've heard some people say it's their least favorite of the series, but I'm just excited to find out where the story goes next, and we'll see how I feel from there. Then I have 2 books that I want to reread this month. First one being Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy. This is one of the books that I'm wanting to reread during the year before The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes comes out, so definitely looking forward to this one. This one has been my favorite book of the series when I've reread it in the past, so hopefully it keeps up with that, because I love the first one and I also love the second one, but hopefully I still love it as much this time around. Then the final book I'm going to try to get to this month is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising saga. I reread Red Rising last month and loved it just as much as the first time that I read it, so I'm really excited to continue on with Golden Sun. I can't wait to reread the series. Quickly has become my all-time favorite, so really excited to move on to this one. So that's all the books I'm going to be trying to read during the month of February. I probably will try to sneak in some comics off my comics and graphic novels TBR, which I'll link up there if you didn't get to see that one. It has a bunch of comics and graphic novels, if you could imagine, that I'm wanting to read in the next 3 months. So probably will try to sneak some of those in. I'm trying to get in the habit of reading one in between like my different reads. I did that during the last part of January and it worked really well for my reading. I thought that it really helped me like stay motivated. So try to keep up with that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you are reading any of the same books that I am in February, or if there's any books you're particularly excited about, please leave them in the comments down below because I'd love to hear what you're excited about, what you're anticipating this month, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!